From the Glenn Campbell Museum in downtown Nashville, it's our host, Keith Burns, with the stories behind the songs.
Hello, y'all. This is Keith Burns, and once again, I'm here on the Rhinestone stage at the Glenn Campbell Museum, the gem of Lower Broadway. And welcome to this Las Vegas action-packed, on the edge of your seat, exciting extravaganza of epic proportions, unparalleled in the United States of America, labor-inducing show. And I am, how about that, Wood? I am thrilled because I'd never really have gotten to hang out with this guy, but man, he sent me a little one-page resume, so to speak, a little bio is what we call it here in Nashville. And I was just reading down at the songs that you've written, and my friend, you have quite the catalog. You've got.
Well, thank you. You know, I've had deals. I write at least 2 songs a week. And man, I've been here for 40 years. That's 4,000 songs, man. You know, I'm the same age and class as Dolly Parton, class of 64.
Okay.
And she's always talked about writing 4,000 songs. Hers were by herself, though. She's so selfish like that, you know.
You know what?
They
Shame
think
on
she's
her.
so sweet, but she could have called me, but
She
no.
could have given you a call. You could have wrote "I'll Always Love You" with her.
I would have. Yeah, I would have had a word for half.
It would have made walking out to the mailbox pretty fun.
She recorded that. I'm in the RCA building,
Right.
Where she recorded that and Jolene on the same session. That's my understanding.
Well, so a little history. I know this is the stories behind the songs, but I always like for people to give a little history. Where you from? Kind of how'd you get here?
I'm from Hampton, Arkansas, which is in the county I'm from is Calhoun County. It's down near El Dorado where old Dave Gibson went to high school.
Okay.
And but the nickname for my county is Hogskin County, because the farmers would let their hogs run free down in the bottom. It's like river bottom land with plenty of acres and everything. So.
All right.
But the Wildcat, El Dorado was an oil town, so there were a lot of wild men in those kind of towns.
Mm-hmm.
And they would come across and they would steal hogs, and they would skin them because the farmers would put marks on their ears, and they would skin the hogs so they couldn't be identified. So Hogskin County, Arkansas. Not far from Delight, Arkansas, but I moved here in '76 to do music.
Okay.
You know, I think I had about 30 songs that I had written by myself.
Influenced by?
Well, Glenn Campbell and Johnny Cash, but all the great writers, man. I'm talking about Simon and Garfunkel, Paul Simon. I got hired for a woman's birthday party, and she was a huge Christopherson fan, and they sent me to a professional makeup artist, and they put a lot more hair on me and a beard, and I looked like his younger brother. I'm telling you, amazing. I did about 5 of his songs, and it was so much fun, man. Unbelievable.
So
what great songs.
You get to town in '76.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you're here.
Yeah, I was like the 30th songwriter in town at that time.
Because, you know, everybody that I've talked to on this show, they all of them say the same thing, and it's the truth. The 70s were the explosion of the songwriter in Nashville. Yeah. Am I correct when I say that?
Oh, yeah. My gosh, yeah.
I mean, that's
right.
kind of, you got these legends that we listen to.
You know, one of the first, I already had the first 2 John Prine albums, and I went into the Exit Inn one day, and there he was by himself at a booth. There was a little bar outside the listening room.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Yeah,
John.
And he's just was so down to earth, no pretense, no worry about me trying, anything. I just sit down and talk with him. He's just so easygoing and down to earth, man. Amazing.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing is, so how long were you in town till you finally met somebody and got your foot in the door, so to speak?
Well, it didn't take long, really.
Wow.
And by the way, I came planning to stay.
Okay.
Because I learned how to do photography while I was in Arkansas, I would go hire an airplane pilot to
Okay.
take me up, and I would do aerial photographs of those farms out, and any wealthy people houses, but especially east of Little Rock, farms that were thousands of acres, and they had airstrips and all this stuff. So I would fly around and get a great shot, and then I would go knock on their door and show them a sample, and then I would sell them a $150 blow up, and it only cost about $10 to make the picture.
Right.
And I said, well, you know what? I could be doing that in Nashville. And so I had a good day. That was my freelance day thing, and I was free. And I even had a little dark room and everything on 16th Avenue, right next to Tom Collins's Pie Jam Publishing Company. You know?
My God.
Then I met Even Stevens, who co-wrote all that stuff with Eddie Rabbitt, and Jim Malloy, who's David's daddy, and they had Dave Briar Patch Music, and they even wanted to do he heard me singing and took me in the studio to do a demo out at Hilltop Studio. Jimmy Capps was on the session, by the way, the great Jimmy.
Rest
Oh,
in
my
peace
God.
for him too. So
And they liked it, and they put out a single, and it was on Elektra Records, Elektra Asylum.
So you were signed to Elektra.
Yeah, I got signed. I got signed as an artist first.
Now, did they sign you as a songwriter also?
Yes, they did.
Okay, so they
And-
had your catalog.
And I got
at
two
the-
songs on that album, and one of which I wrote with the great Tim Dubois,
Oh my God.
who we had our first number ones together for Razzie Bailey, the song called Midnight Hauler is
Oh, I
Cannonballing
remember
Her
that.
Home. And the great Reggie Young, rest in peace, guitar player,
Yep.
played on a million hits. He played that. He just rocked it and
Midnight
amazing.
Holler.
But anyway, that was the deal, man. That was so things started going, and then I did a showcase at the Exit Inn for the big wigs of Elektra, and they gave me an album deal, and I did one album, and we're starting on the second album down in. We cut 3 songs down in Muscle Shoals with all those great Muscle Shoals guys, man.
Oh man.
And then the
Swampers.
now
did this? Let me ask you this real quick. Interject here. Now, did the Swampers play on the record, or did you take?
yeah, they
the
did.
Swampers
Yeah,
did, okay.
well, it was Roger Hawkins and David Hood and
Okay.
Randy McCormick and Larry Byram and
Holy cow!
amazing. Yeah,
Well, I'd love to hear that.
yeah, it came out good. It came out really good.
Is there anywhere they can hear that? Can they go?
None of that ever got released, man.
Oh.
The management of the record label changed, and you know how that
Yeah,
story goes. Yeah,
Trust me,
so.
I know how that goes.
No. Hey, my memory's working pretty good today.
I know,
can't
you
even
got it
believe
going on.
I'm usually going. I tell people this is going to be a song. I'm going to have to write this song. I've got a mind like a steel sieve. And I've told somebody that, and they said, "What's a sieve?" It's like a colander. It's where the bad stuff goes through.
Yeah.
And
So it was so you get it, the Razzie Bailey cut. Was that your first cut? Was that your first big
it
song?
was the first number one.
Yeah.
This was after I got signed to Bob Montgomery at House of Gold Music, which was kicking butt, man, at that time. Can we say butt? It's
Yeah,
like
you
butt.
can say that. You can say ass. I mean, too, if you
It's
want
in the
to.
Bible.
But no, Bob Montgomery. I was a bass player and wrote some songs for Joe Diffie, and
Oh man.
and played bass with Joe for 6 years. God bless me, was very fortunate to have a top 15 tune on Joe, and Bob Montgomery was his first producer.
Yeah.
So Bob had a heart of gold,
And
man.
those guys, Johnny Slate and Danny Morrison, they were
Yep, they
writers,
were-
and that was good.
they
That
were
was
Joe's managers.
well. They produced Joe.
Yeah,
Was
Johnny
that-
did. Yeah,
yeah,
Johnny
yeah.
Slate. Yeah, he sure
So,
did. So
Man, when you're with guys like that, man, the credibility factor is big. You
Yeah.
know. So,
well, let me get this. We got to do the story behind the song. One of my favorite songs ever, and I am a huge, and when I say huge, ladies and gentlemen, I mean as wide as these arms can go. Huge fan of the Oak Ridge Boys.
wow.
I mean that big.
Yeah.
I love the Mighty Oaks, is what I called them back in
Unbelievable.
the day. You wrote a song for the Oaks, which was huge.
Yeah, it crossed over pop. I got to.
What's the story behind that song, and if you can play us a little bit of it.
Okay, yeah, well, one of my first co-writers was Dan Tyler, and he was signed to Deb Dave as well. But he had a little boy, and it's actually the Bobbie. It's what's the first words a baby says besides mom and dad, or it's bottle for Bobbie. You know, I think I've heard him say that. So he had the idea, and I was already doing the rockabilly thing with the Midnight Holler thing,
Right.
And that was a big influence on me.
Okay.
And so, man, the demo of the song we did, it was so good, man. It's just amazing. So. And by the way, on the 35th anniversary of that being number one, they invited me to join them on stage at the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh, wow.
And I say, for one night, it was Wood and the Oak Ridge Boys.
So you wrote the song.
Yeah.
Did you write it by yourself?
No, I wrote it with Dan Tyler and his wife, Adele, actually.
Adele.
Yeah.
Okay, how long did it take you to write this thing?
It was one of those that just came really quick.
Really quick.
Yeah,
And it comes out from Bobbie.
Yeah. But you know what? When I was growing up, the idea of a girl from across the county line,
Right.
that was so exciting. When you're from a town, I only had 30 people in my high school class.
Wow.
And man, I'm still in touch with all of them that are alive. I'm in touch with some of the ones that are not. But anyway, the idea of a girl from the other town. So, anyway, I can play a little bit of it.
I'd love it.
I heard about her from a friend of mine. He said she lives across the county line. The sweetest grape that ever grew on the vine. And now that's where I'm spending all my time. Her daddy Robert and her mama Ruth, they had a daughter they named Bobbie Sue. And now she's 18 and she knows the truth. Nobody's gonna tell her what to do. Bobbie Sue. Can't you see my love is true? I want to marry you. Bobbie Sue.
That's so awesome, man.
Yeah, man, they just had Elvira.
Elvira was
which really featured Richard Sturman's bass voice, and so then and that was the last. No, they did "Fancy Free" after that, the Jimbo Henson song,
which I love.
and then they were ready for a new album. They said, "Well, Fancy Free, Elvira, let's try for a girl." And man, Bob Montgomery and them were able to walk right in there, and we wrote the song before they had those hits. So it wasn't like we were writing for them. It's just that timing was everything, man.
Timing, opportunity.
Yeah.
And you already got to hear Elvira be so big and use Richard, who, by the way, for all you folks don't know it, he sang with Elvis. Richard Sturman.
Oh, well, I'm not surprised. He loved those quartets, man, those gospel quartets.
Bass player a bass singer for Elvis, so man, and then so you have that, and that's a huge hit.
Right. I'll never forget Warner Brothers bought House of Gold, and Bob Montgomery went with it, and so they sent me to L.A. for the Pop Awards. Man, I was there, and I had bought it was '83. I had bought my first video camera, and back then the recorder part was the VHS. It weighed 25 pounds. I had to put it in a backpack, but it was high quality.
Right. Right.
I took it to the awards. And there was this young guy named Michael Jackson. That year in the '80s, the early '80s, there were 30 country artists that crossed over to pop. That was a big. I'm telling you, look up the stats on that.
What year was that?
It was '83.
'83.
Yeah.
So you've got Alabama, you've got Exile, you've got all these different groups that are.
And man, that made a big difference. It really.